We are here in the new 102.7 studios, powered by Celsius, with Sam Cieri of Nicotine Dolls. Oh, I know the name.
Okay.
I know the name, but
We're
you
still
know
at
what?
the point where I have to check these things and make sure people know.
You know what, though? I know the name now, but I didn't know that phrase, but I know the people that's about. Can you tell me about Nicotine Dolls?
Yeah, as a name?
As a name.
Yeah, we were a band for a couple years before this name, and we had a name that was Spray in the Baskets. We did a tour, and somebody said, next up is the Bread Baskets. So we were like, we need a new name. That's a bummer that happened. And when I was in high school, you go to house parties, and this girl, Nikki Henning, would throw these big house parties, and I would spend the entire time outside chain smoking with everybody because I couldn't handle being in the party, but I liked being outside. You'd take people one-on-one, and I called those people that hung out outside Nicotine Dolls. And so we were naming the band, and I brought it up, and I was like, that's a cool name. That's a very cool name. And it also kind of fit what we were talking about and who we all are as people and the people that come to our shows, which was like, we're not the people that are in the party, but we're like party adjacent, and we're like outside, and we probably are cooler than the people in the party, or so we tell ourselves.
Yeah, you're still part of it.
Exactly. We're still part of it.
Yeah.
We're just like outside being quasi-philosopher pretentious people.
I love that. All right, so listening to your sound, I know you get your own sound, but just trying to describe to other people, I hear a few different influences.
What do you hear?
I know you probably have heard it all, but like a Chris Stapleton, like a John Mayer, like a little Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yeah.
Are any of those influences
I
in your
remember
music?
being 20. I was my dad was a big Springsteen guy, and he was very adamant that I listened to Springsteen growing up, so I of course didn't, because you don't listen to the music that your parents tell you to listen to. And then one day I saw a clip of the 1970, I think it was 74, Hammersmith Odeon concert. We're right around Born to Run era. He's got the leather jacket. He's got the beard. He's the coolest looking person alive. And I saw that show and was like, I want that. I want that kind of show. I want that kind of band. That's amazing. For singing, it's never a cool thing, and I've accepted this as being, some people think it's awesome, some people don't. But I grew up, my grandmother was a huge influence musically, because when we were kids, she would just blast her favorite music. So it was like Whitney, Celine, and Michael Bolton was a huge one.
Because I heard a Michael Bolton cover, I think, on your... Yeah.
I'm a big Michael Bolton fan.
That's great.
I really love the music.
Well, you've got that sound. You can.
Yeah, I think that's where some people have said that because my talking voice and my singing voice are different, which seems to be something that really sends people for a loop. But I've heard that's a whole other thing to talk about. But
okay.
I think like where it comes from is that I've always had soul singers and Otis and Bolton and Stapleton and Sam Cooke and all of these dudes, and that's just how I've always thought of singing. So when I started singing, that's just where my voice tended to go, and now it's just that's where I'm most comfortable, and that's where it just sits naturally for me. There were a couple years where I tried really hard not to sound like that because I was trying to sound more like my talking voice, because we did a recording session and somebody said, you got like a Michael Bolton thing going on. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he's like, no, it's not. Don't do that.
Did you get in your head?
I did. I got super in my head and spent, I think the first couple of years of the band, you can hear it in early stuff in our band. I'm trying really hard to be like, I really wanted to sound like the lead singer from The National. So I tried like just forcing a little bit of a different sound, and it took a long time to be comfortable enough to be like, no, I sing the way that I like to sing, and that feels good to me.
And that's what you should be doing.
Exactly.
But a lot of music, I got the feels. You have an LP out, An Attempt at Romantic.
Yep.
I mean, some of these lyrics really hit. Like kiss me and laugh like you mean it. Hold me till I start believing I'm in the arms of the rest of my life. I mean, that's some pretty deep stuff.
That's some heavy romantic stuff. That was, I think, a lot of this record is, there was one relationship over the course of 6 years kind of being together on and off. And I think looking at it now from where I am now, I'm very grateful because to really love someone for that long, and in your 20s where it's like you're kind of an adult person, so you're not like a teenager. Because when you're in love, when you're a teenager, it's just like, we're kissing and you're touching my butt. Like it's not, it doesn't,
Right.
you know, you have no idea
If it's
what
real or
rent
not. Yeah.
is, or you haven't traveled together, because you can't love someone unless you've traveled with them and you understand
And
if you
you
can
see
travel
it.
well
Yep.
together. And then you fall in love as a person or more of a person, and you realize what it actually is, and that it's not about the fireworks and the things. It's about, can you talk to when you hear someone's voice, does it feel like home? And can you sit on a couch and do nothing for 5 hours, and you're okay with that, and that's your life, and you're fine with that being life. And so a lot of the record is about that relationship and me being very grateful for that relationship. And in my opinion, which is that song, is just me looking at her, and just, she's actually the one playing cello on that song, which I really love that little ditty.
And do you write a lot of songs about the first dates you have? And if you do, is there usually a second date? Or?
I just went on a date with somebody that I wrote a song about, and they brought it up, and I was really embarrassed because we went out, and like a while ago, kind of before this relationship happened. We went out once, and then this relationship happened, and then in the past year we'd gone out once before, and then last night. And I did write a song about meeting her, and then I wrote a song about the date. And then last night, I didn't even know she liked me at all. And then last night, she was like, I don't know, I feel like, are you going to write a song about this date too? And I was like, well, don't say that. When you say like that, it's not great. I feel not great about it, but probably. Yeah. Especially because you said that, and I'm feeling real insecure about it.
You got to tell them what they're in for, you know?
Yeah. I think when you date a musician, you do have to understand that it's all on the table.
All right, so on this album, you also collab with Diane Warren, legendary songwriter. How was that?
Crazy.
What did you learn from her? How did that even happen?
My manager, kind of shot in the dark, had reached out and said that we should do something together. And I think she had heard a cover of me doing I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. And because she wrote that, which is crazy. And so she was like, okay, come out to LA for a day. And we did. And it was we get to the building. She shows up in this like sky blue convertible, and she's just like chaos, and she has shopping bags, and the first thing she does is just like, she's like, hold these bags. Like there was no high or anything. Right. It was just like, hold this and carry it upstairs. And we're upstairs, and we're in her studio, and there's like a letter from the president just like on the floor. Like she hadn't hung it up yet, and it's just so casually on the floor. I was like, who is this person? And she sits at the piano. She plays the first song. She's like, sing that. I sing it. She goes, okay, great, that's yours. Second song, sing that. Okay, great, that's yours. And I was told early on that when it comes to Diane's and her songs, she's very protective about her songs, and she should be, because she's Diane Warren. And the one song that's on the record, there's two songs on the record with her, which is You Won't Have Me in Backseat. And Backseat was a ballad, and it was she played it like a ballad, and it was very slow. And it was good, but I asked her, I was like, Diane, I think right now this song is about making out in the backseat of a car, but it kind of sounds like sad, like crying, making out. It kind of said, it's not like, there's not like, I don't want to take my clothes off to this song right now. And I feel like I should. And I was like, could you give me like a second and let me try to get a different feel out of it? And she was very like, I don't know. I don't like this. And, but she was also nice enough to give me the opportunity, and I played it for how I think it should go, more of like a 80s Springsteen type thing. And I actually don't think I'm allowed to say what she said to me. No, I'm not. Okay, great. But it was very nice. It was very explicit.
Okay.
but how she compliments is very like, some of the craziest things that I've heard were in that recording studio, and just she's a rock star.
Yeah.
She's like a full-blown iconic rock star. She works really fast. She's like, we did 3 songs that day in like 8 hours, which was bonkers, and I loved every minute of it. And she's just like, there's no time with her, there's no time to do anything but the work. And then when she got it, move on, don't overthink anything. And I love that. I love working with people like that.
Oh, hey. Okay, well, since you are, I want to know what your perfect date is.
My perfect date?
Your perfect first date.
Depends on the person. There's no generic date. There's
Yeah.
no generic date.
You don't have anything set up in your head. It's different for every person.
Different for every person. Okay. A drive-in's always fun. It's a classic first date, if you can find one. There's a couple around the city. I think you got to talk to them first, get an idea of who they are, and then do something that you would want to talk about later on. So like, don't just go get drinks, or don't just go get coffee. Like, what do they like? What do they want to do? Go, if you're going to get coffee, maybe go find a really cute bookstore because they love books, and you can spend a couple hours walking around and
So you really do
talking
your
about,
homework.
I think you have to.
You have to.
You have to.
And then you can put it into your songs, right? That's
Exactly.
why you got to make it different each time, because you can't write the same thing, right? That's why.
I mean, I'd like to think that it's not always about the songs. I mean, it is, but yeah.
All right, so you had a lot of jobs before you hit it. You were on Broadway.
I did the Broadway tour of once.
Okay.
Once.
How
I
was
did
that
that
experience?
for 2 years. It was interesting because I had only done one other show before that, just on a cruise ship, because I needed the money, which is a weird way to get into acting for money. But I needed to pay my bills, and then I really fell in love with it, and I love that show so much because the music in that show. And at that time, I had given up on my own music career. I was 22, 23, something like that. And I had been, since I was 14, been like dealing with people that would come up to me and say, I'm gonna give you the world. You're gonna be a star, kid. Like this whole stuff, like record this and sign this, and this is your manager, and this is your producer. And spending almost 10 years just getting taken advantage of and feeling like I'm really bad at this. There's a reason why I'm in a subway right now, singing for 6 hours to pay for food for the next 2 days. So I stopped, and through a series of unfortunate events, went from selling motorcycles to being in a musical. And while I was working on that tour, I played the main guy in the show, and got to do it over in Ireland. But we had access to all these guitars all the time, and I just started writing a lot on the road. And our guitar player in the band was also in that show, and I told him, I was like, after we get out of this, I'm going to start a band, and you should be in that band. And I did a little bit of theater after, but I very much made the decision that I was like, I'm going to commit my life to myself and to this band and to the music again, and I'm going to fully do it this time. And went there, and there was like a whole trajectory for me in theater, and I just kind of walked away from it to do this, and lived in my van for a year and was cleaning houses. And when we needed money to record, I sold the van and lived on my mom's couch and did every odd job you could think of. I did it. As long as we were able to record, as long as we were able to rehearse and keep the thing going, that's what I did.
And you're on your way now. You're on tour, summer and fall.
Yep.
Album, an attempt at romantic, out now. Sam Cieri from Nicotine Dolls. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward to all your success.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.